Today I'm going to show you how to start a serious sports card collection for under $500. I'm no smarter than you, okay? So this is not very difficult. I'm going to walk you through this process here, but if I can do it, you guys can do it, okay? So I'm recommending that we buy in 5 different categories, all right? Now, what are these 5 categories? Out of that list, I would focus pretty much on LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. Okay, you cannot go wrong with those 3 guys. Trust me. Cross Drew Lock off that list, okay? You will not be buying them, right? $500 out there, okay? We've got new cards on our PC, right? And then we got $500 back right now that we can do the whole same process again with. All right, hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Power Sports Memorabilia Show. I'm your host, Matt Powers. Thank you again for joining me. Please visit the website, powersportsmemorabilia.com. Also, can be followed over there on Instagram at Powers Autographs. Well, sports cards are starting to get very, very expensive. Every month, it seems like another card is selling for over $1 million. Your favorite players' rookie cards over $1,000 now. You know, it can just be pretty intimidating to try to start a sports card collection when you see this. Today, I'm going to show you how to start a serious sports card collection for under $500. Not just any collection, though, a graded card collection of your favorite players, but also a collection in which you can buy other players and sell those to help fund your future personal collection. I'm stoked to be able to share this with you guys today here. I'm going to try to be as detailed as possible as I can, so you may want to take out a piece of paper and a pen, take a couple different notes here. But again, these are always just my thoughts. Again, always do what is best for you and your collection. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's talk about the strategy I have here, all right? So here's my strategy. Now, again, you can adjust these numbers to fit any budget. If you want to go up to $1,000, down to $250, you're just going to have to adjust them up there a little bit. But $500, I think, is doable for probably most people here, all right? So the $500 is going to cover buying the ungraded cards and also getting them graded. And it's also going to be covering the cards that we're going to be doing for our personal collection, but also the ones that we're going to be selling, okay? And again, remember, we never go into debt to buy sports cards. I'm assuming this is $500 that you have in your bank account that's not going to be affecting your rent, food, other financial responsibilities, okay? This is just extra money. We never go into debt to buy sports cards, okay? We just clear that up right off the bat, okay? So extra money that you've got, you want to start a collection with, all right? So what's the goal here? The goal is to find cheap, ungraded cards, ones that look good and are of superstars, all right? So no sports cards in me, all right? Let's get superstars, ones that people actually want to buy and ones that you want to have in your collection, and we're going to get them graded, okay? Now, we're going to talk about the cards in just a second here on which particular players and types of cards to buy, but first off, let's talk about the grading, okay? The company we're going to be used for grading is CSG. Now, why are we using CSG? Well, first off, they're going to have a rather quick turnaround time right now, okay? They've got a 60-day turnaround time, which is way faster than PSA right now, all right? Also, their grading cost is very cheap. Right now, you can get a card graded with them for $8, okay? So if we're on a limited budget, getting a card graded for $8 seems pretty good, all right? And so what's the downside of using them? There's always, with an upside, there's always a downside. Again, CSG is a new grader. Their parent company, CGC, has been grading comic books for a very long time. They're well respected. So they should have some, decent systems in place. They should be able to have some consistent grading. And they did just sell a LeBron James refractor card, their first ever card that they graded for $100,000. It got auctioned off on eBay, all right? So that's a good sign, but again, we don't have data for a full year of what their cards are actually going to be selling for, okay? So that is a little bit of a downside. Okay, so with CSG, you can either submit cards directly to them. However, they do have a 75 card minimum for the 60-day turnaround time, okay? So obviously, we're not going to have the funds if we're doing $500 to be submitting 75 cards at this time. They have partnered with KK Sports Cards on Instagram, okay? You can find them out there. They're going to be a submission group for CSG. So how it's going to work is you're going to send your cards to KK Sports Cards, and then they are going to send them off to CSG for you, all right? With KK Sports Cards, you only have a 10 card minimum for that 60-day turnaround time, okay? So that's going to be huge for us. Again, you're paying that same price there at the $8 card max. Again, you can find them on Instagram, KK_sports cards, all right? So another downside is I understand people may not like the CSG slab. It's got that green slab color. It's not my favorite either, but hey, we're on a limited budget here, okay? And if you want to adjust these numbers and use PSA Beckett or HGA or whatever it is, you're just going to have less cards to grade. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to, again, set up our personal collection here, but also get some cards in that we can sell that can help fund that PC collection there. So the more cards we get, the better off we're going to have a chance at doing that, all right? And again, always choose the grading card company that's best for you. Again, I'm just using CSG for this example because I think they're going to have a decent reputation and it's rather cheap for us. Again, we're on a limited budget, all right? So the cards, which cards are we going to be buying? Our goal is to find cards that, number one, we want in our collection for our PC, okay? But we're also going to be finding superstars that we can sell to fund that PC, okay? And we're looking for cards at $5 and under, okay? And now you might be thinking, Matt, you can't find cards, quality cards for $5, you know? Yes, you can, okay? I've been buying cards for Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, LeBron James for $5 and under. Good quality cards that look good, that people want in their collection. So trust me, it can be done, okay? If you can buy cards for those three guys, you can buy cards for anybody, all right? Now, I'm no smarter than you, okay? So this is not very difficult. I'm going to walk you through this process here, but if I can do it, you guys can do it, okay? So it's gonna be very, very easy. I'm going to break it down for you guys right now. Generally speaking, for about every 10 ungraded cards that I buy, I get about 2 that are probably maybe grade worthy, okay? Now, those numbers can adjust depending on what types of cards that you are going to be buying, but I like that ratio. So let's say out of that $500 budget, right, we're going to buy $350 worth of cards. Okay, at $5 each, that allows us to buy 70 cards. All right. So out of those 70, we're probably going to get about 15 graded. All right. So not too bad. All right. So 15 graded at $8 a pop for getting them graded. That's $120. Plus the $350 that we spent on the cards, that's $470 right there, okay? Now we're going to need to leave a little bit of room to maybe buy some supplies and also, of course, ship our cards off for grading. So that leaves us for a budget of around a total of $500, okay? So the types of cards to buy. I would stick to the big names if possible, the big brand names, okay? You know, Panini, Topps, Upper Deck, okay? Those are the ones that people really enjoy buying. And also, since we're going to be grading these cards, let's pick cards that have a good shot at being high grades. Okay, I did a video on how I've been able to get more PSA 10s. I'll post a link here for you guys somewhere. Okay, go back and watch that video there. But again, we want to pick cards that have easy to see the centering, that have potentially a white background. A white back of the card would be great. Cards that don't have any dark borders there, we can see the chipping and stuff like that. It gets very easy to see that. So again, let's try and pick cards that have a good shot at getting a decent amount of grades, all right? And also buy cards that catch your eye. This is definitely underrated here, but don't just go buy any card, okay? Take a look at a card, and if if you're scrolling through eBay and you stop and you look at that card, wow, that thing looks great, oh, it's under $5. If you like that card, somebody else probably have a good chance of liking that card, okay? So if you don't like the card, don't buy the card, all right? All right, next thing, the sports to buy. This is very, very important, okay? So since our goal is to, fund or start our collection, but also to buy cards that are going to sell for us to help fund that collection in the future, we've got to be diverse, okay? We've got to be picking up other sports, all right? So I'm recommending that we buy in 5 different categories, all right? Now, what are these 5 categories? Well, first off, 20% is going to be our PC collection, okay? This is going to be any player, any sport. These are the guys that we like, the cards that we like. It can be anybody for these 20%, all right? Next sport's going to be baseball at 20%, football at 20%, basketball at 20%, and then also soccer at 20%, all right? Yes, soccer cards. Soccer cards have probably arguably the biggest, marketing guys in the entire sports industry. These guys are superstars, okay? Now, listen, if you live in Canada and you absolutely know hockey like the back of your hand, then substitute one of these sports in for hockey. But these are the main big sports right now, all right? Again, we're trying to be as diverse as possible because we're going to be selling some of these cards, all right? So essentially, you're going to be able to buy about 14 cards per section, all right? Now, the players to buy. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the best-selling players in each sport, okay? This is very important because we want to be buying guys that are popular, right? That's a no-brainer. All this data I'm going to share with you right now is over the last year. It comes from Market Movers, which is Sports Card Investors software program. They pull all their data from eBay. You can subscribe to them. It's like $49 a month. You get a whole plethora of stuff to look at. Again, that's if we're on a budget, it's probably not something you want to do right now, but in the future, it might be something to take a look at there. And this is their top 10 list for each sport on total number of sales for each player, okay? So the top 10 for each particular sport, okay? And again, for the 20% for our PC, you can buy whatever player you want. It does not matter. You have free reign on that. But this is going to be for the other sports, okay? The baseball, basketball, football, and also soccer, all right? So for baseball, the top 10 best-selling guys over the last year, 365 days, Ken Griffey Jr., Tatis Jr., okay? Ronaldo Acuna Jr., sorry. Mike Trout, Luis Robert, Derek Jeter, Juan Soto, Jason Dominguez, Pete Alonso, and Frank Thomas. Okay, that's the top 10. All right? Now, on this list, you really can't go anything wrong with Trout or Jeter. Trout and Jeter are consistent, easy sellers. I definitely will be picking up some of those. Tatis and Acuna, the same exact thing. Those guys are the future of baseball, in my opinion. So, out of those 10 guys, those would be the 4 that I would be picking up. And again, Alonso and Thomas just aren't my favorite on that list. But again, you buy what you think is going to be a good seller for you. All right. Now, moving on to basketball. Top 10 there. Got Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, Kobe Bryant, Trae Young, Michael Jordan, Tyler Hero, Kobe White, and Jason Tatum. Out of that list, I would focus pretty much on LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. Okay, you cannot go wrong with those 3 guys. Trust me. You cannot go wrong with those 3 guys, all right? Now, outside of that, I've talked about him on the show. I really like Luka. Zion and Ja are going to sell great for you. Those cards may be a little more expensive just because they don't have as many cards on the market as some of those older players. So you're going to be paying a premium for those guys. So they may be out of the realm right now. Yes, they do sell, but they may be a little too expensive for the budget that we have right now. Football, and you're going to see a theme here, okay? Here's the top 10 football guys. Ready? Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Kyler Murray, Tua, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones, and Drew Lock. Okay. Cross Drew Lock off that list. Okay? You will not be buying him, right?
Nope.
So, do you see a theme on that list? It's quarterbacks. Football, quarterbacks sell. You got to be buying quarterbacks, all right? On that list, I've talked about them a million times on the show. I love Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. You cannot go wrong with those 2 guys. Outside of that, I'm a big fan of Josh Allen. I think the Bills have a huge fan base. They just made the playoffs. He's a great quarterback. He's going to have a bright future. I think you can find some fairly affordable cards on him. Justin Herbert, you may be a little bit more expensive right now, but he's going to be another great player. And then Joe Burrow's coming off an injury. Again, he's been a very popular guy there. It's kind of been devalued a little bit since the injury there, but another one to see if you can find some $5 to $7 cards maybe on that one. I don't know. Those guys might be out of the range here, but you can find Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady for under $5 all day long. All right, now let's move on to soccer here. These are the top 10 guys right here, okay? You got Kylian Mbappe, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Jadon Sancho, Neymar, Christian Pulisic, Kai Havertz, Alphonso Davies, Timo Werner, and Phil Foden, okay? Now, not on this list is some guy I would definitely consider getting is Erling Haaland, okay? He plays for Dortmund. He is going to be probably making a big transfer this year, maybe this summer, or maybe in a couple years. It depends on what happens there, but he is the future of soccer, so definitely would be considering picking him up. Anything Ronaldo and Messi sells, that's a no-brainer. Okay, most people in the world know who those guys are. I would stick to those guys if you don't know too much about soccer. Mbappe is another very popular guy, and of course Haaland there. Those 4 guys, if you stick with those 4, I think you're going to be doing pretty good. All right. So next topic here. Let's move on. Where are we going to be buying these cards at? Okay, so now you've got the budget right. You know which players to buy. You know the types of cards to buy. Now you got to go out and buy the cards. All right. Where? Well, obvious answer for number one is eBay. eBay is just so easy to buy off of there. You can see the card quality, see the pricing. You get a tracking number right away. You don't have to hound people for it. You've got a huge selection. So that is going to be a number one option for you. And one thing to keep in mind when you are buying ungraded cards, double check to make sure the seller doesn't have graded cards. All right. And the reason why is sometimes they will sell their ungraded cards on their platform there that they looked at and said, you know what, this isn't worthy of me being graded. So we don't want to be buying those cards, right? We're on a limited budget. We don't want to be, buying cards that aren't going to have a chance at being graded. So just something to keep in mind when you are buying on eBay. ComC is another decent option. Now, keep in mind, ComC, though, a lot of people send cards to them that they don't want to get graded either. So you're going to have to be very selective on the cards that you pick using with them. But again, you can find some really, really solid deals on ComC. Definitely some good quality cards for good pricing. Facebook groups are another very solid choice. You can probably find the best pricing there because people aren't paying eBay fees. And then, of course, buying boxes and packs right now are out of the question. Okay, we're not going to be doing that. We're just doing a targeted approach on specific players that we want to buy that we're going to be selling down the road, or we're going into our PC. All right. Okay, so now you bought all the cards. Now you got to get your cards graded. All right, what do? You've bought all the cards. You got them in your hands. Now you got to inspect your cards. Okay, we're going to inspect them for good centering. Our surface, we want to make sure there aren't any scratches, print lines, all right? Our edges are nice and sharp, okay? Our corners don't have any whiting on them, all right? We want to make sure those are nice and sharp. Those are very, very important. We want to make sure those corners are looking good. And then now we're going to select our best cards that we think have the chance of getting the highest grade. We're going to be sending them off to CSG, okay? Now you're also going to be needing, penny sleeves and also some card saver ones. So if you don't have some of those, make sure you buy those. You're going to need those for submitting your cards for grading. Okay, now that you've got your cards selected, now you're going to ship them off to KK Sports Cards. They're out there in Florida, and you're going to wait probably about 75 business days. All right, that's from you shipping your cards out to you actually physically getting them back in your hands. All right. Now, what do you do with the cards that you didn't get graded? Right, those aren't just wasted money. Now, what you can do is you can sell them on your eBay page if you choose to. Okay, or you can just send them off to ComC. ComC is going to charge you probably about 35 cents a card to do that. But again, ship them off there. They'll scan them for you. They'll sell them on their platform, and they'll also sell them on eBay for you. And then when it sells, they ship it. You don't have to do anything, all right? Very hands-off approach. I definitely like that. I've done it the other way, trying to sell them myself. Way too much work. Don't do that to yourself, all right? All right, so now 75 days have passed. We've got our cards back. Hey, great. We've got some good grades here. We've got some cards for our PC. Let's put those in our PC. And now we've got some extra cards that we need to sell, okay? So what do we do with those, okay? Well, eBay is going to be your best option, of course, all right? Yes, Facebook groups are, it's okay. It takes a lot more work, I think, doing through the Facebook groups there. eBay, you're going to reach the most amount of buyers, so that is definitely the easiest way to go. Just make sure that you're taking good quality pictures of the front and back of your cards. You've got a good description with the player name, the type of set, the card number. Essentially, in the grade, essentially just copy over the information that's on the slab, okay? Double check to make sure you're spelling stuff correctly. Don't be a dummy and spell something wrong. So basically just copy over that information, all right? So you got your cards. You decide you're going to sell them on eBay. What do you sell them for? Well, it depends on the card and, of course, the grade that you get. Okay, but let's just assume, with CSG, we're going to get mainly 9s, right? 9s, maybe we get a couple 9.5s, all right? You can do a little bit of research first. You can check out what other people are selling their cards for. You can check out past sales, okay, all that kind of information, all right? Don't forget to factor in probably about $5 in shipping, and you're also going to have probably about 15% eBay fees, all right? So factor that in for your pricing, all right? So let's say we're roughly about $15 into the card with grading, okay? We spent $5 on the card, we spent $8 on grading, then we got a little bit of shipping costs involved there. So we're about 15 bucks, all right? Let's say we want to double our money, right? Great, double our money, that's always a good day, right? So that's going to put us at 30 there. Now we're going to have to add in that $5 for the shipping, and we're also going to have to add in the 15% eBay fees, all right? So we're going to have to be selling a card for about $40 to $50, all right? So let's say on the low end, We're going to have, about 12 cars to sell, right? So we had 15 cars that we got graded. 3 went into our PC, and we've got 12 cars to sell, all right? That gives us, let's say, for example, we can sell them for 40, right? Okay, 12 times the 40 there, that's going to put us at about 480 in total sales. Let's say we get $15 profit per car. We've got $180 profit right there, okay? Super nice. We got $480 in sales. Hopefully that takes us, about 75 to 90 days to sell the card. So roughly about a card every day or two. That would be in a best case scenario. So look at that. I mean, we basically put $500 out there, okay? We've got new cards in our PC, right? And then we got $500 back right now that we can do the whole same process again with, or we can buy cards that are already graded for our PC. So you've got a lot of different options right now, all right? And also remember, depending on how many cards you end up selling using this process or any other process that you choose to do, you're going to probably have some taxes at the end of the year. So I personally would set probably about 20% aside. Again, I'm just overly doing it. I don't want to be getting a big tax bill at the end of the year and not have money for that. So just something to keep in mind. If you start selling a ton of cards, you want to keep some money aside for good old Uncle Sam. All right. So again, hopefully this helps you guys kind of set up a process for you guys to start, getting a PC going for yourself, but also you can sell a little bit of cards to make some money. And if you choose to keep making money, that's fine. Or if you want to take that and then buy new cards for your PC, but this is a great way to do it. Again, you can use CSG, or you want to jump around and do some other grading card companies. I like CSG just because I think we can get the most amount of cards graded. We can sell them very quick and easy, and we can also get them for a cheap price, so in that $40 to $50 range, which is in the budget for most collectors. All right. So again, visit the website, powersportsmemorabilia.com. Also give me a follow over there on Instagram @PowersAutographs, and I will see you on the next episode.